we are together, Cassandra and I, this morning to spend time prepping our vegetables. So it's easier to eat vegetables on a busy day. We all know, like, we want to have more vegetables in our diet. We know it's good for us. We know they're full of vitamins and minerals and polyphenols and phytonutrients. And yet, at the end of a busy day, the thought of chopping vegetables just seems like way too much. And so I think we've all had that horrible experience of opening the fridge and pulling out all the rotted vegetables that we never got around to eating. We don't want that. We want to be able to prep our veggies and make it easy for us to incorporate them into our diet. How about you, Cassandra? What helps you eat vegetables more often?
Really what you said about, having them ready to go. I lead a very busy schedule. I mean, we all do. Really just having them prepped and ready to go so I can skip that what feels like 30 minutes before each meal of cutting is very helpful for me. It makes life a lot simpler.
Exactly. What vegetables are you cutting up today?
Yeah, one of my favorite veggies is zucchini. So I have a few zucchinis here that I'm going to chop up. And then I have a beautiful bowl here with, I have some mushrooms, bell peppers, and then some red beets.
Nice. Are you thinking of particular recipes, or you're just getting things ready for whatever you decide to do at the last minute?
I am just kind of getting things ready to go, and then I can use them in whatever recipe or whatever way works over the next few days. Like I said, I'm a big zucchini fan, so usually zucchini is in my breakfast every single morning. When I studied abroad in college, that was the first time that I had like vegetables outside of like a handful of bell peppers and an omelet or something. But like vegetables being the focus of my breakfast was when I was in Europe. And I loved that. And so I've really just kind of incorporated like a vegetable heavy breakfast ever since then. And then bell peppers, like I use it a lot when I make like tacos, or my partner and his brother, they love like Asian inspired dishes. So I use that bell peppers a lot in that. If I have them diced up, I can just chop them in. Same thing with mushrooms or bell peppers. I use a lot and just have them with hummus, keeping it simple. What about for you?
Well, I've got some peppers here too, and I love eating raw peppers as a snack. Doing some traveling this weekend, and so I'm cutting these red peppers into thin slices. And if I have some left over, it's easy then to chop it into a stir fry. I don't use it all as crudités. I love red bell pepper because it's super high in vitamin C. And that's really, it's so important for us to get vitamin C in our diet. It helps make collagen, which makes all of our connective tissue, including our skin, strong, helps our immune system and things like that. There's just a lot of uses for vitamin C. It's an antioxidant. So if we're exposed to toxins and pollutions and things like that, it really helps neutralize them.
Yeah, and we're getting into cold and flu season. So any way to boost vitamin C, I think, is good. And I feel like there's this misconception that it's like, you have to get your vitamin C from oranges. And there's a lot of other ways, and veggies are packed with vitamin C, bell peppers especially.
Bell peppers are good. So there, I just have that ready. That took like a minute.
That's awesome. Yeah, I am working on my first zucchini. So I cut my zucchini, like I just cut it into like little dices. And so I have these fun like little strips. I just like cut the zucchini in half and then third each half, and now I'll just like chop across the top. I used to be really like finicky about they had to be the same size and but it doesn't matter. Getting it done is better than making it perfect. And I thought it was interesting, like I cut out the middle part, like where all the seeds and whatnot are. Because I just don't like that texture when I cook. Or when I eat zucchini. So I cut that middle part out, and it's easy just as like slicing, running the knife across the middle through the tummy, I guess, of the zucchini. But I have a friend who really likes that part. So they leave that part in.
I would imagine that has extra nutrients in it. So
Yeah.
to cut out, like, you know, when we have big collard greens and they have that really strong stalk in the middle, and a lot of people cut it out. I think when you cut it out, you can chop it up real fine and include it, because collards have so much calcium in them.
Yeah.
Of all the veggies, collards have the highest amount of calcium. But I think if you cut out that stalk, you're going to cut out the calcium. So,
Yeah, you definitely lose. And I feel like the stalk especially has a lot of fiber.
yeah.
You're looking to boost your fiber. There you go. And so, like, now I have these just like diced zucchini here in my container. And I saute my zucchini mainly. So that's my favorite way to have it.
So I have this just open jar. This keeps the celery fresh if you just want to keep it in your fridge and go in your fridge and have a little snack. And sometimes it's nice to have a few different sauces that you dip it into. So this is going to go right into my fridge.
That's nice.
I'll put it in there later. I have long thought that one of the difficulties that we have for home cooked meals, besides being super busy, is just that it's not natural to do it all by yourself. I think that we're designed to cook in community because it's kind of nice to chit chat back and forth while we prep food.
Yeah, definitely. I know, like, even if the other person isn't like cutting anything, like, or doing any prep, like, I find that I just enjoy it so much more if it's not a solo activity. Because then you can just catch up on whatever life, that, like, how was your day, you know, talk about current events or just ideas, whatever's going on. It makes it go by much faster.
I agree. And I think when we have another person there, we're much more likely to do it. So you're right, even if they're not shopping, but they're just entertaining us with conversation.
Right?
Helps. I'm cooking, I'm cutting up a red onion, cut it in half, and I just I sliced it this way, and then I'll cut it this way so that I'll have little cubes. And I'm going to put that in a jar and put it in the fridge for whatever use, because I love onions. I love red onions, and I use them a lot. This is a great source of quercetin, which is helpful for our immune system. It has sulfur in it, which is helpful for our detoxification pathways.
Yeah, onion is really a powerful vegetable for sure. And I have my zucchini in like this glass bowl, and it does have a plastic lid. But I know, like, I'm not a huge fan of plastic touching my vegetables, or any of my food. So actually what I do to kind of mitigate that is I'll take parchment paper and I'll lay it over the top and then click the lid on.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Little tip I picked up when I was prepping and doing like food prep cooking with someone else. I was like, oh, I like that.
That's a nice idea. This is plastic, and this was actually the gummy container for my multivitamin gummy from Designs for Health. And I really like this size jar in that it's clear.
Yeah.
But it is plastic. I know it's BPA free, but I'm not heating it up, so I'm not overly worried about it. But it is nice to store things in glass.
Yeah, that's really the big thing, like with plastic and other materials, is like if it's cooled off, you know what I mean? Like if it's room temperature or cold, then it's not gonna activate the compounds to leach into the food, which is what you don't want. So love that. And I like am all about, you know, reducing my footprint. So I don't want to go out and like buy new things, because then you just have all this waste of containers that you already have, but you're not using. So it's how can you use what you have to keep yourself, your family safe.
Yeah.
And not have to buy a bunch of new stuff. So reducing, you know, that footprint as much as you can. Sometimes it's just little changes that add up to something big. So.
Little changes, and you just do what you can. Like hold it in a light way, because if we stress about doing everything perfectly, then that becomes something that holds us back. And We don't want stress in our kitchen, right? We want to feel relaxed in our kitchen and enjoy being here. So it's nice to have those environmental concerns and respond to them. I think that's great. As you know, food is nature, and we want to respect our food. We want to respect nature, and we want to respect our bodies. And we want to stay relaxed while we're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're going to be like eating it right away, it's like you want to be in that rest and digest, right? Like if you're all stressed about it while you're making it, you're just activating your nervous system. And then, I mean, just like, they say when, like with cows or whatnot, like if they're in a stress state when they are slaughtered, then that impacts their meat. And then we eat that, all those hormones, those stress hormones.
Yeah.
So
We
that can
don't,
apply when you're making your food and cutting your vegetables too. Like, don't
yeah,
transfer stress to them. It should be fun.
should be fun. I just want to share that I've been chopping up romaine for future salads. And I have, this is a glass container. So they're in little squares. And I might even cut them up a little smaller as I go. Well, it's not pretty small. So I cut it short ways, and then I cut it again long ways. And then I get the little squares that are easier
Beautiful.
to eat. And
And
then
I
I'm
have my bell pepper in just these fun little strips. So just like you kind of were talking about with your red pepper Anasuya, same thing, great for dipping, snacking, but now also can easily just dice them up if I want to use them in that shape.
yeah. And I'm keeping some romaine, just cutting off the edges so that I can do wraps with them. Romaine is great as an alternative to bread. It's nothing like bread, but you can put your sandwich foods in there and roll them up and eat them. And it's quite lovely, instead of a hamburger bun or something like that, or
Yeah.
just put nut butter on it. Um,
Oh, I've never done that on lettuce. I'm gonna have to try that.
yeah, I really like it.
Mm. So I'm cutting my mushrooms, and I use mushrooms a lot. I saute them a lot and put them in just whatever, add them with salmon, add them on top of like salmon burgers or mushroom burgers or whatever, black bean burgers that we make. I used to be like, again, really finicky about like shapes and it's supposed to be like this, it's supposed to be like that. No, that's stressful and takes more time. So like I just took the mushroom and I just like cut it 3 times one way, twist it, cut it 3 times another way, and then I end up with just these like little pieces. And they're not uniform, but it cooks down and it eats the same. So I have not gotten any complaints when I've made any meals with mushrooms and being cut this way. So
Excellent. And
I
I'm
would
doing,
not get hung up on that aspect.
yeah, I love that. Just make it work for you.
Yeah.
I'm carrot, and I'm gonna cut it long ways and then
Mm.
in thirds, just something to snack on. And it has a crack already, so I'm gonna just go long ways that way. And
Yeah.
something with a hard vegetable, you kind of have to be really careful about where your fingers are because you're gonna
Yeah.
apply pressure, and then you keep your hands out of the way so you don't cut yourself.
Yeah. Safety in the kitchen is important.
Yeah, and just like that awareness about where are all my fingers as I'm working and talking at the same time. Where are all my fingers? What is the knife doing? Is it wobbling because I'm applying so much pressure and the carrot shape is round?
Yeah.
Something there is exciting to get that done.
Yeah. I've been really getting into carrots lately as well. So I love that you're cutting carrots.
What do you end up using carrots for?
All kinds of stuff. I mean, like I'll steam them and eat them. Now we're getting into, I guess technically it is fall. So I make like a coconut carrot soup a lot in the fall and super easy because like I said, if it takes a lot of time or a lot of prep or really a lot of effort, I'm not doing it. So I will steam like a bunch of carrots, and then I'll take like half of a can of coconut milk typically, or depending on how big of a batch I'm making, because it freezes as well. And I will just put it in my Vitamix or Ninja or whatever and just puree it. And that's that. And then
Wow.
sometimes I will, then when I go to have a soup, like you just like make it, you can add water or more like liquid from the coconut milk if you want to make it runnier. But like even just like as like a thicker soup, I'll like add a dollop of it like on my breakfast with like zucchini and fava bean and broccoli or whatever, or like I'll have a baked potato with broccoli and I'll like put a dollop of the carrot coconut like soup. Or if I make it runny and have a true soup, then I can dress it up with like, it goes really well with broccoli. Sometimes I'll add like ginger to it, or I like cilantro, like top it with cilantro is kind of nice sometimes too, and do like hemp seeds or something if I want to add more protein to it. So yeah, it's a little like overcast and chilly here today where I'm at, so that's making me want some soup. Warm foods. I want warm foods.
I feel really inspired by that recipe because I like the kind of recipes where I could just kind of get the concept, steamed carrots, put it through the Vitamix or the Ninja or whatever blender, and add the coconut milk. And if you want ginger or any other spices, and then you have it, and you can have it thin or thick and use it as a topping or use it as a true soup.
Yeah, super versatile to do whatever you want to do with it. And like I said, I'll make a big batch and I'll freeze a bunch of it.
So I steam these later and make it into soup, and maybe I'll just take a few for my my travel. Yeah, and carrots they're full of beta carotenes. All the orange foods are really good for the liver. Beta carotenes turn into vitamin A, and vitamin A is very good for your immune system. And ginger, when you add it into your foods, is an anti-inflammatory, so good for an inflamed stomach or inflamed joints. And what I understand about healing, it's not like you're thinking, I'm going to take a natural pill and that will remove the symptom. It's like there are these multiple layers of care that go into just easing it a bit and easing it a bit until it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So thinking about your food in these kind of nutritional and medicinal ways.
How can you add that into what you're just eating?
Yeah.
Without having to take, like you said, another supplement. I know I get supplement fatigue sometimes.
Yes. This is the answer to supplement fatigue. In some ways, it's just to really boost up, your whole foods, including vegetables. And
definitely. So I'm cutting up beets now. So what I did here is I have them, on with the greens on. That's my preference, to have them greens on, because it just like, I feel like it prolongs its nutrients before it makes it to your table. And so I just cut off the end, cut it off on both sides, the top and the bottom, and then I'm left with, the round beet. And then again, I usually just cut it in half that way, cut that half in half again, and then make some dices. So I have these little chunks. I like my beets a little bit smaller, but I get asked a lot, like, how do you eat a beet? And I like to steam mine. So I steam it with the skin on. You can eat the skin. It's very earthy and tough, so I prefer it with the skin off personally. And if you were to buy like already cooked beets, the skin's going to be off. But if you steam it and then just let it cool, you'll be able to just like peel the skin off with your finger. It'll slide off. You'll have very red hands, but it washes off. It's fine. So don't wear white maybe when you're doing it, but it's super simple. And then like my diced beets, I'll like toss them in salads, or I will, I just eat them with a little bit of olive oil and sea salt maybe if I'm just feeling really beet-y that day. but super simple. And beets are amazing again for like liver, gallbladder health. That's really why I started upping my beet consumption, especially when we're trying to do a little bit of detox, or when allergies are really bad. I can feel my liver getting congested when it's, allergy season. So
Beets are really a powerhouse. Yeah. Very helpful for hormonal balance too, because of the way this thing that supports the liver is going to support hormonal balance.
That's a good point. I forget about that sometimes.
I want to share one thing is I many years ago I lived in an ashram, and so there were a lot of people, and there was a kitchen that we would go and volunteer helping all the chopping, because there'd be mountains of onions to chop. And also people would serve each other. There would be a meal line and you would serve each other. And the kitchen aprons had a saying on it, food is God. And I think this is a well-known saying in India, but that whole idea that food is God, food gives us life, that it is blessed to have the food that we have, is a wonderful energy to bring into our kitchens, I think.
For sure. I love that. I love that. There's such power in food and nutrients and healing and creating that community. I mean, I feel like it's something that we've kind of lost, especially that community aspect. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, why can't you just hop on a Zoom or a FaceTime and cut some veggies with someone on the other side of the country?
Yeah, it's been Sandra. I've really enjoyed it and I've gotten a lot done. And I want to point out this idea of putting a sign on your fridge that says what vegetables you have in it. Because sometimes you can't find things and you forget, and then you find it when it's rotten. So I've listed the things that I've cut up, and I've got the green pepper. I've got the carrots all ready to go. I've got my romaine lettuce ready to go, both in squares and in whole leaf with the ends trimmed. I've got onions. I've got red pepper, and I've got my kitchen jar of celery. So my goodness, got a lot done while having a good time. That's pretty great. How about you?
Yeah, got a lot done. I have my zucchini all cut quite a bit, which is nice. I haven't put it in containers yet, but I have orange and yellow pepper. I feel like I have the rainbow. I have my green for my zucchini. I have orange and yellow pepper. I have some diced mushrooms as well, that are ready to use. And then I have my red beets. So got a lot done. I'm ready to eat now.
Excellent. Well, if you're watching this, I hope it gives you a little bit of inspiration to just go and prep one vegetable, two vegetables, maybe even call up a friend and say, can we chop together on Zoom? Or, if you can do it in person, that's even better. But really, it's fun to do it on Zoom too. Thank you so much for listening. Anything else that you want to add, Cassandra, before we sign out?
No, thanks for the time. Thanks for helping me get some of this done, and I feel pretty ready to go for the weekend now with my veggies.
I do feel ready too, and what a great feeling that is. All right, we'll talk again soon.